It's really sad that so many of us will go to God or exercise our faith as a last resort. We'll try everything else. We'll try to fix it all ourselves. We'll try to solve it. We'll call everybody. We'll join every mastermind. I've done it. Spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably over $1 million, to be honest, to this point. At the end of the day, it's like, boom, we have access to the one who knows everything, who has every answer. It's like, we're so egotistical, And so for me, it's like, once I realized, wow, I can actually partner with God, and he designed that way. And he actually created the entire system. It's actually rigged in our favor. He wants to bless us. He wants us to prosper. Wealth is a mandate. Multiplication is a mandate. We were created in the place of prosperity, in the place of protection, in the place of abundance. It is our nature when we're in union with him. It is not our nature when we're separate from him. And actually, I think there's a book right here, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry.
Good.
So good. But I studied Jesus, and one of the things for me was like, Jesus was never in a hurry. Okay. I cannot think of one person on the planet who had a bigger job. Okay. He built the greatest franchise model in all of history. His message is still like the greatest influence on humanity ever. And really, what did he do? He woke up. He spent time in solitude. I looked at his rhythms. I'm like, what was his rhythms? You know what he did? He spent copious amounts of time in solitude and prayer. He only did what the Father said. So for me, every day I ask myself, what is the authorized work you would have of me today? And that's how Kairos time works. That's how heavenly time works. There's an appointed time for an appointed thing in an appointed moment. And that's it. And so this idea that I'm supposed to be doing it all, it's Chronos time. Chronos was the Greek god of destruction. I don't run by chronological time, even though we're in this realm. I don't know if this is kind of like offshoot, but when we think about that, it's like, okay, Lord, you put me in this moment. Who are you going to send my way? What is the one thing, the authorized work you have of me today? And that's what Jesus did. I only do what the Father tells me to do. And he spent a lot of time with his core 3 and his core 12, right? His unit. He would spend a lot of time in fellowship and community. And I love that. So for me, I'm like, I want that rhythm. I wrote this down this morning, but transformation is all about seeds. So many of us want growth. We want transformation in our life and our business, but transformation comes from seed. And we're so focused on outcomes instead of the seed. Like, let me plant seeds and let the seed do what the seed does. My job is to plant seeds of relationship, plant seeds of value, plant seeds of connection. Like, let me be in the seed planting business, because seeds are designed to sprout, each one in its due time, and they all grow at different rates. So it's like, plant seeds, water the seeds, nourish them. But like, you standing over it, pouring more fertilizer on things, sometimes burns it out. And nothing grows.
Right. So I did have a question on this whole concept, because my biggest takeaways is like reminders to like slow down, don't be as in a hurry. But how do you also not confuse that with being lazy or like laziness? So like for someone listening to this podcast, hearing like, okay, I need to slow down, I need to check myself a little bit, let things kind of happen in a flow state. Where do you draw the line of like, okay, you're just being lazy and burying your head in the sand, to what we're talking about?
The more you are dialed inward, not outward, the more you are plugged inward, not plugged into everything else. You're always plugged into everything else. The more tuned in you are to when it's time to go, when it's time to slow down, when it's time to stop, because you can hear, you can discern, right? There's a knowing that happens. I think so many people are so plugged in to, okay, this podcast is telling me to do this. My text is, my iPhone's going off, or my Apple Watch is going off. And it's like, they're so connected to everything else, which means you're so disconnected to yourself. You can't hear the Holy Spirit. You can't hear God. You don't trust your own gut instincts. You don't even know if your intuition is right or wrong. You don't trust yourself. Let's be honest. You don't trust yourself. So you're asking everybody else, and you're questioning. And so this is, again, part of this slowing down is when we slow down and unplug. How about having some technology-free nights? And just tuning into your body. Like, when does my body actually need rest right now? Not another glass of wine, right? Does my body actually just want connection? And that's why I'm going to social media again. Like, maybe I can just take a minute to connect with myself, connect with my kid, or connect with my mom, or, whoever, like, right, whatever. It's like, we don't stop to ask ourselves, what do I actually need that I'm going to satisfy or pacify? And so, to answer your question, I think that you get that awareness when you slow down. It's a muscle that has to be developed over time to tune inward, to be able to know, because again, that's what flow state is. How do you know when it's time, to turn or to navigate the wave or the mountain differently? You just know. You can feel the mountain. You can feel it in your body because you're listening. You're not just talking all the time. You're not just going all the time. You're listening.